Page 2 on your news and information leader, 1240 AM and 102.7 FM, KBIZ. Let's get you back to our news director and host of the Mid-Morning Magazine, Ellis Codjoe.
For the second half of the show, we are joined by phone by a man who is a resident of rural Keosauqua, and he is running for the Iowa House of Representatives in November. Tom O'Donnell joins us by phone. Tom, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Ellis. I'm good. Had my Wheaties, had my tea. It's a beautiful day.
Sounds like a healthy breakfast, so you should be good to go. All right. You are running against Jeff Shipley, the Republican incumbent of District 87. Precisely, where does that cover, Tom?
District 87 covers all of Van Buren County, the bottom tier of townships in Jefferson County, so the southern part of Jefferson County, including Fairfield and Vedic City, and then 3 townships in Henry County. I believe it's Tippecanoe, Salem, and Center, including Mount Pleasant.
Gotcha. You announced your candidacy about a month and a half ago. What made you want to put your hat in the ring?
Well, I think the first thing is I believe voters should have a choice. They should have options. I don't believe an incumbent or any other candidate really should just slide into office as a default. So that was the first thing. The second thing is I'm very concerned about the state of our rural schools and want to be sure to preserve and strengthen those. And I've seen some actions taken by the legislature and the governor over the last few years that I believe have endangered our rural schools. So that was the issue that I kind of chose to run on.
Can we put a microscope on that? What actions has the governor and the legislature taken that has been concerning to you?
Well, I'll try to be brief.
Okay.
There's 3 things that I'm focusing on, and Jeff Shipley voted for all of these. Number one, they've underfunded our schools drastically. Over the last 14 years, the average of supplemental state aid increases per year has been about 2%. The superintendent here in Van Buren County says that they need 3.5% annual growth in state aid, or they'll have to cut $500,000 from their budget. They got 2.5% this year. It was 3% last year. It's been as low as 1% in 2019. So we're falling behind, and that means bigger class sizes and less staff, things like that. The second thing they did was pass a private school voucher plan, and they don't like it when you call it vouchers, but that's what it is essentially. A voucher plan that gives families $700-800 per student to send their kids to a private school. We do not have private schools in Van Buren County. This is pulling money away from public schools. And 3/4 of the families that are in this program already had their kids in private schools, so did they need the program? What's more, the private schools have raised their tuition when they saw this was coming, and so that's limited the access that this program is supposed to provide. The last thing is the area education agencies that rural schools rely on for services such as special education, literacy consulting, math consulting, speech pathology, which I need right now, and things like that. It used to be the money for the services flowed directly to the AEAs. If a school needed services, they just called up, they got it, no questions asked, no charge. Now they've redirected that money to the individual schools, and so they're limited on how much money they can spend for these services. Rural schools are going to run out of that money pretty fast. I've actually spoken to some teachers here in the Van Buren District who say they've been told that they should look anywhere else for that help before they call the AEAs so that they don't run up a charge on that. These services are vital because rural districts can't afford to hire a speech pathologist or somebody to help with math or literacy, and they may not need somebody full-time, so they really rely on these services, and they're kind of endangered.
Well, other than that one small flub, I think you're fine on the speech pathology front. I don't think you need a specialist. Besides, you probably aged out of that service a little while ago, so
you can count on that.
We're talking with Tom O'Donnell. He is a candidate for the Iowa House District 87. He is running against Jeff Shipley, the Republican incumbent. We provided a lot of background in the press release that you provided announcing your candidacy. Talk a little bit about your background and what you do in the community.
Well, I was lucky enough to marry into Van Buren County. My wife, Paula Moore, grew up here, and her family came here in the 1970s and converted a 1868 schoolhouse into a home and a studio for her father, who was a watercolor artist, Wendell Moore. And we inherited, Paula inherited the schoolhouse, and we were coming down here on weekends from central Iowa. And then we moved here full-time 3 years ago. I've been involved locally with the Bentonsport Improvement Association. We live right across the river from Bentonsport. I call it the Bentonsport-Vernon Metroplex. We're in Vernon. And we've worked with them and with the County Conservation Board, BIA, and we received a $1.6 million grant from the DOT to rehabilitate the iron pedestrian bridge across the Des Moines River that connects Bentonsport to Vernon. This is a historic landmark here. It is a big attraction. We just learned the other night that through the Conservation Board's effort and Richard Doherty, the Conservation Director's efforts, that he's obtained the other $400,000 we needed to match that $1.6 million. So that project will be going forward in the near future. So that's one of the main things I've been involved with here, just trying to keep the community active, keep it alive, bring people to our area, and just make life better here.
Tom, what separates you from your opponent, Jeff Shipley?
Well, I think my main difference is that I'm really very focused on the issues that affect the everyday lives of people here in Van Buren County. I think Mr. Shipley is distracted by kind of culture war issues. He likes to attack transgender Iowans, transgender people who make up less than 1%. I think it's probably less than 0.5% of the population, and he seems to think of these people as a threat to society. They're not. It's overblown. But he seems to jump on this issue because it divides people and separates people. My wife and I have been knocking doors for the last 6 weeks, what have you, and we've never heard from anybody that this is their main issue. They are concerned about education. They're concerned about economic opportunity, wages, the economy. They're concerned about their nursing homes and that their elders are cared for with proper inspections. They're concerned about the water quality, just the quality of life in general here, housing, child care, the costs of those things. And he's not really focused on those things. He could have made any one of those things his signature issue, but he's chosen to make a divisive issue his signature issue.
If you do win in November, Tom, most likely, and I don't know, I can't look in a crystal ball, but most likely you'll be part of a minority in the Iowa House working against a Republican majority. How willing are you to work across the aisle?
Well, nothing gets done without collaboration and cooperation. And I'm definitely, and people are tired of the politics. They're tired of the partisan bickering. It's not my intention. I'm not there to score political points. I'm there to get things done for the people of Iowa, and I'll work with anybody who's reasonable and of good faith to try to attack these problems and address them. Well, I may be in the minority, but I'm optimistic that the Democrats will make some gains, and God willing, or with good luck, we might actually take the House. That's a long shot, I know, but in any case, I'm trying to go above politics and address the real issues that face people here in the district.
Tom, we appreciate the time. We have about a minute left. I'll leave it to you to just sell to the voters why they should vote for you on November 5th.
Well, as I said, I'm not here to play politics. I am here to solve problems. I'm here to listen to people about their real issues and the things that affect their everyday lives. The guy coming off the line at Hill Phoenix and then getting on a tractor to work the fields every night, he's not going home and worrying about whether some transgender person is going to be in the bathroom or something like that. He's worried about paying the bills and getting his kids a good education and having a decent life. That's what I'm focused on. That's going to be the thing that drives me every day. I want to see lives improve for people here in Van Buren County, Jefferson County, and Henry County.
Tom, I appreciate the time. Best of luck in November, and thank you so much for joining us this morning and telling us about your candidacy.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ellis. Have a great day. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You have one as well. Take care.
All right.
All right, that was Thomas O'Donnell. He is the Democrat running against the Republican Jeff Shipley in Iowa House District 87. That will do it for our show today. We appreciate you listening here on 1240 AM and 102.7 FM KBIZ. Have a great Thursday. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.